Bonjour, fit femme. Welcome to this episode of In Bed with the Fitness Industry. We are joined by an award-winning leader in the fitness industry. I love the reaction. An award-winning leader in the fitness industry today. Thank you so much for joining us, Melanie. Super happy to have you here today.
I am so happy to be here from my bed. This is the
From your
funnest
bed.
podcast location I've ever done a podcast in ever officially.
Oh, yay. I always wonder, I'm like, are you going to keep anything you're wearing right now or the room? Or you're like, well, if I'm here, I may as well get some different kind of work done. So I always wonder about the rest of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, for those of you who haven't had the pleasure of meeting Melanie yet, she is a international speaker, an author, a TEDx presenter. She's the founder and CEO of Play Inc. and was recently named CanFit Pro's Fitness Instructor of the Year. We'll talk about more about that in just a second. Melanie inspires families and teachers and kids into fitness programs in schools and communities all around the world. And she coaches clients. She operates all kinds of businesses to support movement in children. And she spends a lot of time in the outdoors, enjoying her relatively recent new space with her family where she lives with her wife, Justine, and her 5-year-old daughter up in the mountains. Bienvenue, mon amie Melanie.
Merci de m'avoir. I'm so happy to be here.
All right, let's get down to it. You sleep in shorts and a t-shirt.
This is my sleeping t-shirt. I got it on Instagram for $5. It made me laugh so much. And I just keep it basic, you know?
So for those of you that are listening to the podcast, Melanie's t-shirt says, surely, hold on, pull it up again. Surely not everybody was kung fu fighting. Surely not. Some of them were doing things. Absolutely.
Not everybody was kung fu fighting.
And your bedtime routine, you like to be a around 11 p.m. sleeper and a 7 a.m. waker. Do you manage to achieve set 8 hours of sleep relatively regularly?
Oh, like ideal is 11 so that I can work at night because I'm a night owl, but mostly I'm in bed by 10. And seven's pretty consistent, but I've got a 5-year-old who's about to start kindergarten. So our life is about to get a lot earlier. So I think we've got to roll with it.
To be able to get her out the door. And so you're living where now you've lived in a lot of different places in Canada. You travel internationally, you do a lot of different things. But in the last couple of years, you moved to the mountains. Tell us about that a bit.
Moved to the mountains for our health. Honestly, it was the
Mm.
lockdowns and COVID, and we were in the mountains quite frequently because we lived in Vancouver. But we really believe in the power of nature and being in trees and being in the outdoors when the world was, I don't want to say like fighting something that we didn't know what it was going to happen. We just knew that if our health and our immune systems needed to be optimized, that we need to spend as much time as we could in nature. And so we were able to rent a house in Whistler. And after being here for a few years, we're like, we got to move here. There was a lot of reasons why we thought we could never live here. And those flew out the window after we started we trialed this life and we figured out that it actually could really work for us.
Very cool. Very cool. I appreciate you going indoors. Oh, maybe we should do a different one outdoors. We'll do another talk one time where we can both be outdoors. Feel like that'd be super fun too. So tell me about how you found your original niche in the fitness industry. And it's something that you and I had in common, that we both very much loved. And then it evolved. So can you tell us about finding that niche in a very busy fitness industry in Canada, and then how it evolved over the past few years?
Yeah, well, I didn't know that I was in a niche, but I've realized after leaving my first niche that I was in university programs. Like I started teaching fitness in university settings with like hundreds of people coming to classes. And I actually had my first reality shock was when I went to a regular gym and there was like a studio that was like, 800 square feet and 6 people would come. And I was like, whoa, what is this fitness class with 6 people in it? I thought there was gonna be 200 people. And so like, I realized my first niche was like big stages. I love that. But I'm a physical education teacher and always love working with kids and kind of like, I never, I never thought that I was going to be like a fitness instructor merging it with phys ed. As a physical education teacher, I was like, that was my PE job. And then I've got fitness on the side, which was this thing that I used to do when I was in university. And I never saw those roles combining. I don't
Mm.
know if you know this, but in 2008, I was hit in the face with a lacrosse ball playing sports. I was an athlete,
No.
and that's actually the reason that I kind of went back into fitness hardcore in 2008 and 9 was because I could no longer train as an athlete. I couldn't play any contact sports.
Ah.
And so it really forced me into the world of fitness to figure out different ways to train my body that did not require high impact training or team sports or and that's where I discovered dance fitness.
Hmm.
And I never thought I could do dance fitness. And because of some of the amazing leaders that I met in the fitness industry, you being one of them and some other key people, I discovered dance fitness and I loved it so much that I brought it to my students. And that turned into the strangest niche in the world. It's like I was traveling with my wife 2 years ago, like kind of in the middle of COVID, and we met someone, and they're just like, are you Melanie?" And they're like, "Yes," and they're like, "Oh my God, you're Melanie Levenberg." My wife's like, "What is going on?" She's like, and we were with a few other people, and they're just like, "How come this person knows you?" I'm like, "She's a phys ed teacher, and I have the weirdest niche. I like teach dance fitness to phys ed teachers," and I'm like, I'm a kind of a big deal in that tiny little niche.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
It's a
a
really
niche that you created for yourself, and I mean, I appreciate you being really humble and saying like how it kind of fell together, but you're incredibly skilled at communicating with students. You have this very legitimate and full of integrity connection with phys ed teachers, and when you dance, nothing else matters. And somehow pulling those things together is how you've had so much success. It's really understanding the things you were great at and the people who you could most connect with. I appreciate you being humble, but there is something there that's really
thank you.
very self-driven, I
Thank you.
think.
Well, the trick to my career has been just tell the truth. And like
Mm,
every single presentation I present at, I get flown around the world. And like
mm,
they're like, here's the dance teacher from Canada. She must be such an amazing dancer. And I'm like, hi, I did not grow up dancing. I have no
mm,
dance training. I have no dance background. I was actually terrified of teaching dance as a PE teacher, which is why I never taught it until we figured out ways to simplify it. And this is what
mm.
I'm here to teach you. And people are like, oh, thank God. Oh, that's me, and I think that that's where the people resonate.
Yes.
They don't
Yeah.
think I'm not there to be the expert for them to become like. I meet them where they're at and I just show them how it can be simple. And what we're really here to do, which is help kids feel better through movement, help kids
Mm,
feel successful. And we can do that through simplicity, not complexity. And that
mm.
I think really resonates with them as people teaching kids. And also it resonates really powerfully with the kids as well, too.
Yeah. I mean, it's accessibility, and it's to a certain extent, it's like bring diversity to kids, because no matter what they're bringing, they can find that movement. That's always been something that you've been really passionate about. And so, yes, simple, which resonates with people because if they hear the word simple, they won't have fear. But behind that, those of us that look at the things that you do, behind that, there's certainly a no matter what your body does, it's right. You
Yes,
there's
which is
no incorrectness.
yeah, you can't get it wrong when you're moving in a way
Mm,
that feels good for you.
mm,
And as soon as we give kids that permission, as soon as we give adults that permission, but especially kids just get it. We're like the
yeah.
right way to move is the way that feels good for you. So
Mm,
you're moving in a way that feels good for you is the correct way. The correct way
mm,
to move is to be different. And so like
mm,
that's what it's a very simple message, but people get it that they have permission to be different. And that's how they're getting it right. Because what I did learn is that kids always want to get it right. As humans, we all want
mm,
to get it right. So when we
mm,
make being different the right way to be, so much freedom happens and joy and excitement and possibilities.
Thank you for sharing that. Um, Knowing that a lot of this comes through schools, over the past few years, you've had the challenge of schools being either closed or virtual or all these other things. And obviously, some of what deciders were choosing as programs that weren't critical were being sacrificed in some ways. How did that drive you to move your business into even more accessibility over the past few years?
I went free. Instead of
Mm,
being like, how do I make money in the virtual space? We moved away from I personally just didn't choose that for my business for this. My wife and I have multiple businesses, different businesses hold different portfolios in our lifestyle and income.
mm,
Play has always been about I love making money doing what I love with kids. And when I saw teachers struggling, we decided to go free. Our entire community of ambassadors started 3 times a day free dance classes for parents who are at home. And then we offered free resources to schools, because making money short term wasn't as important as making a community impact long term. And if I know anything about business, is that people will remember how you helped them when they were in need, not how you
Mm.
make money off of them. So to us, it wasn't about profit margins for the last 3 years. It's been about being there and supporting our clients. And now that schools are back in session, they remember us. They've been dancing with us virtually. We did have virtual programs. We offered it to schools who wanted a full experience virtually.
Mhm.
Um, we made that pivot, but the biggest focus was just how do we keep supporting teachers and parents in this time of need, so that kids can get something, so that their mental health is okay. That is the driving force behind this business. So
Mhm.
on a business side of things, we had to remember the long-term vision, not just the short-term ideas.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think, I mean, there's a lot of people in our industry who would look at schools. I remember over the last, we obviously we struggled, as you know, in a lot of different provinces in Canada, but in Quebec, in terms of having governing bodies see how critical physical activity was. And even my mom at some point, she's like, why don't you go work with schools? And I find it really funny how people just assume that you can just show up one day and be like, hi, I'm a qualified fitness professional. Let me come help these people move. But I think it's intimidating because it's a whole other system than it is with there. But speak to those instructors, trainers who might have kids in schools, who might have a passion to go into schools, who might want to do something, whether it's for free or whether it's an actual program that they're bringing in there. How do they get over that overwhelm of like, I don't know how the school system works, but I feel like I can make a difference. I feel like I can help.
Absolutely. Schools are different because they are required to teach a certain curriculum. So
Hmm.
when you are an external service provider, helping teachers do their job best is the way that we've helped people build businesses in schools, because that's
Mm.
how a school will pay you great money to do something that a teacher would not do. So obviously the world of dance, like I was one of those teachers who didn't want to teach dance because it's intimidating. So there's a niche market there where a teacher will
Mm.
do what you're capable of doing. Some PE teachers can teach fitness classes or sports programs. So that's not always like the biggest landing, but like yoga, dance, some karate, martial arts programs. If you've got that kind of passion and a specialty, often
Mm.
bring you in because the teachers themselves won't teach it. And schools also need to know that the time being spent on your activity is helping the teachers meet the curriculum outcomes that they're meant to be teaching at that time. So a big
Interesting.
part of in-school programs has to be linked to the curriculum. It's not just about coming in and teaching class for the sake of doing an
A
experience with
workout. Yeah. It's not
workout,
about the
which is
workout.
fine. It fits in, but that you might only be hired for one class a semester. But
Right.
when you can actually come in, and for us, in our case, we teach a 5 lesson unit for dance. So we come in and we teach the dance unit for teachers. We come in and we have 12 weeks of mindfulness programs with students. And so,
Mm.
but it's curriculum based. We're not just there to teach yoga, we're there to teach social emotional skills and interaction skills and physical literacy through the platform of yoga. And then the schools are like, oh my gosh, I will hire you and you will do the teacher's job in terms of the teaching and instructing. And then we provide the teachers with the assessment tools. Because again, at the end of the day, schools need to show that kids are learning stuff.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
to report to the government and parents. And so we give the teachers the ways for them to observe the classes and assess what their students are learning as we are doing the teaching for them. So it really is like we're there to
Mm.
support the teachers, the principals who have a requirement to meet the provincial standards, and then obviously we're there to help the students get moving and active in a quality program way. Yeah.
Mm. Excellent. Thank you. I think that'll be really helpful. And just to confirm, Melanie, if there's people who want to work with you through Play, they can connect with you and see if those programs are available for them to bring into their school systems. That's something they can do. Yes.
Absolutely. We have a prepackaged program. I also am a business coach, and I'm helping like 10 other people create their own in-school programs. I am passionate about people who want to work with kids. If you don't want to
Mm.
create a program, I've got one you can use. If you are super adamant about your own program and your own vision, I'll help you build that one. To me, it's all different routes to the same destination, which is helping kids become healthier, happier humans. So if that's what you're
Amazing.
about, I'm here to help.
Thank you. Great. Um, Speaking of some of the visibility that you have, so you congratulations again on winning Canfit Pro's Fitness Professional of the Year award.
Yeah.
Tell us what this means for you. Tell us how this fits into your own growth, your own success, the success of you, your business, your family, and your goals.
How it fits in. It was humbling, it was interesting, it was a cool process, but also being like supported by the people in my life being like, you should apply for this, like, you've done a lot, and this visibility is deserved. It's so hard as a fitness professional when you're heart centered to just be like, no, it's cool, like I don't need to be recognized for these things. um but I also, someone would point out, like, but with the visibility you can impact more kids, with the visibility you can actually do more and reach more, and that's, they know my leverage to get me to do something, which is like, if it's going to impact more kids and it's going to allow me to have a greater platform to have people know about what the work we do in schools and the work we do with kids, and hopefully spread the word and get more people on board with our vision, then I'm for it.
Nice.
um it's cool. I don't think we don't always celebrate ourselves for the resilience that we've had over the years, and
Mm-hmm.
doing this for multiple years, almost 2 decades now. um it's exciting, it was fun, it's humbling, it's getting used to like celebrating yourself and having other people celebrate you, and into that energy,
Mm.
using it to bring the mission forward.
Nice, excellent, and congratulations for that.
And
I
congratulations too. I'm not going to let you pass by without you receiving some congratulations as well, as presenter, our Canadian presenter of the year.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I love that the people in your world were like, how can we get her to say yes to this nomination? And they went right for the heart. Smart. It makes a difference when you surround yourself with the right people, that's for sure. I appreciate that you've done that. Let's look forward to the next little while, the coming months. What are some things that you've seen, over the past few months that you see coming forward, some shifts perhaps in the industry that make you grateful, that you're excited about, that inspires you about where you see us going as somebody that's been doing it for so long?
You're saying it, and I have literal full body goosebumps.
Oh,
Uh, the event that we just came from, CanFit Pro, like I've been going to CanFit Pro for almost 2 decades now, and the shift that has happened in the fitness industry towards movement for health, towards movement
mm,
for preventative care, towards movement for joy and our mental health, towards more inclusive and accessible and body positive fitness. I'm just like, I could cry thinking about how this new perspective is going to help our industry,
mm,
help human beings just become better for themselves and for their families, as opposed to like constrict down into these boxes that I think perhaps in the past were supposed, you get fit to lose weight, you get fit to sculpt to fit into this personal, there, or this thing that you think you're supposed to be, so that you can finally be okay. I love the joy that is coming from fitness, and I'm excited for it. Now I have to say, because this is an amazing platform, where I'm going in the next few years, and people need to hear this. Like, I've been doing play now for almost 13 years, and I am starting my business as a startup. The pandemic has rocked us, and
mhm,
my vibe and my sense, my pulse is that anyone who felt like anything could be recovered or adapted, I'm taking full startup mode vibes with my entire business, as though nothing existed before this year. I'm using
mm,
all of the things that I have built as assets to my business,
mhm,
but I'm going into like, nobody knows who I am. No, like, I have to rebuild all the relationships and all the trust. I have to reach new audiences and talk to them like they don't know who I am. And I have had a lot of success in that, even in the last like 4 or 5 months,
mm,
working through this mode, because I think as fitness professionals,
mm,
especially those of us who were on such a momentum,
mm,
and we had to adapt and pivot, and it's like, it's always adapting. I'm like, why don't we just, let's keep adapting? Yes. And let's, like, what if you took fresh eyes to your business and you have all this
mm,
experience that you can bring to a brand new business, but that brand new business is your own business. So I'm
mm.
really going to the foundations as a business to rebuild with all the wisdom I've got, but with the humbleness of a startup. Yeah. Humbleness and
Interesting.
excitement of a startup, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, which can be overwhelming, but at the same time exciting. And I love the balance of the here's what I know, here's what I learn. And we all have moments where, and that's, to a certain extent, how you stay out of imposter syndrome is to not like, find that sweet spot of I know certain things, I'm in my wheelhouse and I'm learning. Like they can happen concurrently, you know?
Absolutely.
So I love
Absolutely.
that you're doing that with your business too. It's everything that you've learned is there. So it's a springboard. I mean, it's not a springboard, it's a rock. It's a really solid rock, like the mountain that you live on. And then there's the like, but where do we go from here with those fresh eyes? And so I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much, Melanie.
Thanks for
It was
having me
it
in
was a
bed.
pleasure to finally get to see you, and we danced together just a little. It was 5 minutes, but I'm like, I'm dance with her 5 minutes. And congratulations to you. Have a phenomenal back to school or start school season. Start her first. I know it's going to go marvelously well, but I wish you great success. And anyone can find the ways to contact you through the episode notes and on social media. Merci beaucoup, mon ami.
Merci Nathalie, toujours un plaisir.
Salut, ma belle.